Hey, everybody. This is Taz Street with Positive Out Loud. I am very, very happy to have Kit Volcano with us today. Now, Kit, what he does is pretty amazing. He is like a master of self-awareness. He is a forest yoga teacher and a body worker and a transformational coach. So, um, just with that alone, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right, Kit?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's so much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So from
and
what
it's
I,
crazy, like the introduction that you gave me. I don't know where you got that from, but it has grown, like our business has grown so much in the past year that we've shed a lot of those. I own a business with my wife. We run a coaching company that the body worker, the yoga teacher, is just like, I don't really do that anymore,
Mhm.
but for really good reasons, really great reasons.
Well, we'll have to get into that for sure.
Yeah, I would love to get into that with you because just I want to show people that the evolution of you can happen so fast.
Hmm. Yeah, because you started this journey back in 2012 with your wife on your personal
Yeah,
development.
I'm
Mhm.
yeah.
And so tell us a little bit how that started to where you are now. I just want to know a little bit about the journey.
So in 2012, it was early 2012. I pretty much just hit a rock bottom with my life, and I was not with Rosie at this point, but I was just in after bad relationship after bad relationship. I was like completely emotionally immature. I did not know how to navigate my own feelings in life, how to navigate other people, and I was suicidal. And it pretty much came to a breaking point where I was like, you either can continue to follow the path of caring what people think about you and thinking that you're too cool for school to get help and really take care of your own heart, your own spirit, and your own mind, or you can let go of what your friends think about you that are, they're like drinkers, partiers, and they think yoga is stupid, and they think coaching is a weird thing. And you could just save your own life by caring about you more than them.
Hmm.
And so I went on a really intense healing journey, and I was just like, you know what, for the next 3 months, I'm just going to live for me. I'm going to do all the things that I've ever wanted to do to heal my spirit and nourish myself. And it completely changed my life.
Now,
After,
do you think that going through that process of like really caring about what other people thought, that it all started from when you were a child, right? From what you thought about people thought about you, your parents, or that sort of thing, your teachers.
geez, it kind of layers on.
Hmm.
And I think it's like a scale. Like you can either feed this side of the scale or this side of the scale. And the more that you feed this side of the scale where you care what people think about you, the more it layers on. And so it can start in childhood. You make one decision and then you continue to make decisions to care about what other people think of you. And you'll meet people who make your life worse and worse and worse and worse and worse because you care so much.
Right.
So yeah, it can start when you're young, and it can just continue to just get even more messed up.
And I'm sure you meet a lot of those people along the way with your, coaching program, and that's what you do to help people release those layers, right?
Oh yeah. Every time you're about to grow, you will come up against one of your biggest fears.
Hmm.
And you get to choose. Do I make my decisions based off of my old programming? Do I make my decisions based off of the fear of what other people are going to think of me? Or do I make my decisions based off of growth, off of um, sorry, my battery was dying. Might have to plug her in if it gets to 10%. Or do I do I make my decisions based off of, growing and contributing and being my best self and evolving?
Hmm. So tell us a little bit about where you've been and what you've done to help grow, internally. What kind of things have you done?
Gosh, my journey started with yoga, and I started the style of yoga called forest yoga. And that's really where um, the personal development stuff started to kind of like trickle in the back door of my mind. It's a style of yoga. It's made for people with PTSD and trauma, and it really blends coaching, personal development, spirituality, and physically working with yourself and the breath in a really incredible way. And I think what I loved about it when I first started was that it wasn't overly the top, over the top. It just
Mhm.
kind of like gave me little, like planted the little seeds in my mind of, if you looked at this differently, if you started to love yourself, there might be something there for you. It wasn't like, you have to love yourself right now, like really intense, like throwing yourself into like the Tony Robbins coaching world, or, even the little volcano. If you're really, if that is not at all in your like understanding of what's possible, sometimes it can be too much. It can be a little bit of an overdose. What I loved about forest yoga is just like tiny little seeds planted in my mind of, it is possible for you to change.
Mhm.
um and that just really opened the doors of, wow, when I just like nurture this seed of self-love just a tiny bit, it has grown so much. Like I manifested an incredible relationship, and started reading self-help books, and just applying that stuff like 10% of the time just completely changed my life.
Now,
And
when you manifested that relationship, how did the one that you have now, which is I'm sure amazing.
it's the
It,
best.
yes, yes, I have the best too. I understand.
You
So
do? Oh,
yes. So how did that when you started changing that appeared, right? You weren't looking at how did that all evolve for you?
well, it all evolved for me because like one of the things that I've like always deep down in my heart wanted was somebody else to love me. And that manifested the worst pain in my life because I cared about that so much. And it also manifested the best relationship in the world. It's like one of the most just magical things on the planet. And it got so horrible because I sacrificed myself for other people, and I just totally gave up who I was to be loved. And that got me to my worst pain point. But then on the flip side, when I learned like, oh, when you just love you, you can actually attract the kind of love that you want. Now I've attracted this partner who is the most, like one of the most incredible people in the world. She's just so caring and compassionate. She's so fierce. She's everything I put on my list. She's loving, but she doesn't put up with shit. She's brilliant, and she's a healer. Um, she's just got so many skills, and she's hilarious, and she's weird, and she's fun, and it was really just me giving myself permission to be everything that I was. I attracted somebody who was just a perfect match to that.
So when you started loving yourself, it showed up basically, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, that was the same for me. Had gone through a lot of bad relationships. And then once I started working on me, doing that internal work, just all these things that I did to get to that point, I wasn't even looking for a relationship. And there it was. It was right in front of my face. It came to me. And everybody's looking, going out here, looking on Tinder, looking here, going to the bar. I mean, wherever people go. And yeah, you don't have to go anywhere. It'll come to you.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Same thing happened to me. And I never thought that I was in Rosie's league. I never thought that she was a possibility. And when I started to doing the work and I just kind of resigned, like I don't need a relationship. I actually love just being with myself. She started like hunting me down. What is happening here? She could have, and then the crazy thing too is she had a line of people who would like around the block asking her for dates, asking her for dates. And on our very first date, I was like, I was resigned to not let her kiss me because I was just so certain, like I am the prize. I don't sacrifice myself for anyone. You have to be as amazing as I am to date me. She was like, holy crap. This is somebody who's not like pawing at me and desperate and needy. This is kind of hot.
Well, yeah, if you have that self-confidence and you know what you want, then that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing now and together, which is pretty cool. And the fact that you went on your honeymoon to a yoga
Oh, Jesus, we
teacher
did.
training. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so long ago. That was 2013. Yeah, I took Rosie to our first yoga class together, and she went through a process that we actually take all of our clients through. It's a Ho'oponopono process. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
A little bit. Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful and magical and can be used in so many ways. But we went through that process in Shavasana, and she said she was just crying and letting go of so much, and she realized, oh my God, like this touched me so deeply. I want to do this with other people. And I said, me too. So um, I've always been like really, I've always loved money and been really excited about saving money and working towards things. So I was like, all right, we're doing this. And she got into the limiting place of like, I don't have money, I can't do it. I'm like, nope, we're going to figure it out. So she was a massage therapist at the time, and she would come home with tips and I would hide them from her. And then after about 3 months, I opened the box and she was like, no way. I never knew I was making that much money. I can do this. And
So
so we
instead
went to
of
yoga.
saving it when you were hiding it, what would you do with money before? Just kind of spend it or?
Yeah, just spend
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cash burning a hole in your pocket, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are always about, oh, it's not really about how much money you make. It's about how much can you keep for it to grow. Right.
Or if you're spending it on things that bring quality and
Mhm.
enriching things into your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll be really cheap about certain things, and then I'll go drop $15,000 on a coach.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I shop at Ross, but then I'll go because I want to save my money for the things that I really love.
Exactly. I'm not really a clothes person either. I mean, gosh, I despise going looking for clothes because it's like I'd rather go to Kyle Cease or go see Anthony Robbins or right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only in the initial stages of doing this work that you have to save up for the things that you want. But
Hmm.
after doing this work for a while and really applying it to your life, eventually I got to a place where like the things you want are not really out of reach anymore. They can come so quickly.
Hmm. So what are some of the things that you really want?
Um, well, I mean, there's the superficial things that are just really exciting to go after. Like, I want a beach house. I want one of the most amazing, beautiful houses that I could ever imagine. It just excites me. I've always, since I was young, I've always wanted to buy a house. And you know, um, back when I was in a lot of depression and really afraid that I couldn't afford a family, I thought, oh, we'll just get a tiny house and we'll live on some land and some rural place and we'll just live a simple life. But inside, I knew that I wanted more, and it's actually that settling for being small that really caused a lot of depression within me, and settling and not believing that I could have anything that I wanted that really caused a lot of depression. So
Why do you
which
think you had that feeling of settling? Where did that come from?
where did that come from? It's choice after choice after choice after choice. It's never really one moment. It's all the little choices in your mind that you make. Like, oh, there's two of them. I feel guilty for having more than others. And um, and then there's the flip side of it. So there's I feel guilty for having more than others. And then what is the flip side of that? Why am I
But
blanking?
somebody's always going to have more than somebody, right? That's
Oh,
just the way
always.
it works. Yeah.
And then there's that fear that you never have enough.
Yeah.
So if you're always kind of battling between these two, you're going to settle.
Hmm. So why not just have an infinite amount of whatever, right?
Yes. Why not just decide?
Hmm.
know what? I'm going to go all in on this law of attraction stuff that people are talking to. And I'm just going to like let myself soak in it and see if it works. And I tell you, if you just suspend your disbelief for like 5 whole days and just go crazy for like positive thinking, positive feeling, creating a vision, creating what you want, deciding it can totally happen, not letting any limiting thought get in the way, something will come that will be a step towards that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have
So
to believe it.
the positive feeling, the positive affirmations and writing things down, all that stuff is pretty easy. It's the feeling part that gets people. So what do you suggest for that?
Right? What do I suggest for the feeling part? Oh gosh, this is really fun. You know, I had a client the other day I was on a coaching call with, and she came in, and this has been a loop of hers for a while. Just like, she's just tired. She's an amazing person. She's incredible. She's a really fast creator. But you know, her biggest loop is that she is not willing to receive help from other people. She just wants to work. She's just working hard. And I'm like, you know, it's time to let go and receive help. When are you going to hire someone? So for about 2 months, she wouldn't hire somebody. And finally she comes on the call and she's just tired and exhausted. She's like, I'm beat down. I finally hired somebody. I need help. And she was still in the fear. And I'm like, you're tired. You're just so tired. I can tell. And I said, do you want to stop being tired? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I set a 90-second timer. And I said, this timer is going to go off in 90 seconds. And when it does, you're going to jump up and down and scream, yes! And she did. And so she's like, I fucking hate you. Can I curse? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
She's like, I hate you. But she's willing to be coachable. And that's why she has so much in her life. So she did it and she ground her teeth. She's like, really making you do this? And every 90 seconds, that timer went off. And within 10 times of doing that, she was like, I feel great. Holy crap. My energy is back. I have chills right now just thinking about it. She's like, and I know exactly how I'm going to do this. I know exactly how things are going to change. I know exactly what I need to do to hire someone. And she just came out with the most beautiful answer. And the cool thing is that when you just change your state, you change your energy, not just once, not just like, oh, I did it once, why didn't it work? But like, set a freaking timer for yourself where every 90 seconds you jump up and down and you get your blood flowing and you scream. Sounds really silly, but it was 15 minutes of that and she felt great.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you be willing to do that?
Why wouldn't somebody want to meditate? That's the same thing, right? It's because they don't.
It is. Yeah.
It's like, what do you do for your clients that are like stuck? What do you do for your clients that are stuck that don't do what you're asked them to do? What are some things that you suggest for people who are like really, really stuck?
Well, the first thing that you do is you really screen people before you work with them. If people aren't willing to invest in themselves, and this is for a lot of the coaches out there too, that like, because I know a lot of people who follow you are probably coaches. If people aren't willing to invest in themselves, B, start making changes right away, they just need to get in more pain before they'll be willing to change. And so that comes to the second answer of, if people are in enough pain, they'll change.
Right.
So, with my client, it took me 2 months of her being like, go ahead, hire somebody. I know you need to. This is the next step. And until she was beat down enough to surrender, she wouldn't change. The same thing for my life, like until I was beat down enough to surrender and actually like go all in and love myself, it wasn't enough leverage.
Right. I was watching a podcast today on Lewis Howes, and he was interviewing Lily Singh, which she has like 13 million views. She's like a huge YouTuber. And he's like, what would be the one thing that you really would want in your life right now? It's something that She's like, oh, I just want to take a nap right here on your desk because I just don't get enough sleep. And he's like, why do you think that is? Because I just don't, I do everything myself. I mean, you have 13 million followers. He's like one of the best paid YouTubers of all time. And you're not hiring anybody. So we need you for people like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
So
God.
the best things that you can say to people are no. People will change when you say no. But if you continue to tell them yes, even when they haven't earned it, even when it's against your integrity, they will continue to play in their patterns, because their patterns are ways that they subconsciously manipulate others to get what they want. And it ends up causing them, it helps them get what they want, but not long term. And most of the people I work with are focused on like a long-term vision. So telling people no is a really good way to get them to change.
What would you do for somebody that is harassing you and you don't even know who they are?
Oh, I don't know. I've never had that happen. You have?
Yeah, I have this weird mental person that's harassing me while I go to work, spitting, that sort of thing. And
On your way to work?
yeah, that I work in a hospital, so sometimes you get a little, people who aren't all the way there. And
Yeah.
I don't know this person, they're harassing me. And I'm trying to shift the energy and sending them unconditional love, that sort of thing. But it's like, what do you do in that situation? It's pretty hard.
So do you cross the street?
No, it's right. And it's inside the hospital in a hallway. I have to walk down this hallway and they could be sitting at those benches right across from my office. So it's not like something I could avoid or, I avoid it when it happens and I keep walking and going in, but.
Do they have any consequences?
Not yet.
No. So my curiosity is what are.
Well, I'm kind of stuck because the police can only they can't kick this person out.
Yeah.
There's not much they can do. So I'm kind of like stuck in this loophole and there's nothing that I can do except just walk away from it.
What are you most afraid of doing?
What I'm most afraid of doing, being really intimate.
So being intimate with this person.
Right. Definitely.
What would take up the intimacy with them?
Or maybe confronting that person.
Confrontation is the intimate.
Yeah.
So what does your energy do when they spit at you?
It's the fear comes up.
The fear.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of that negative energy.
Yeah. So oftentimes that thing that you're most afraid of, it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come. And I'll give you a really good example. One of my ex-girlfriends and ex-business partners, she judges what I do so hard. She thinks, she's still stuck in that place that we were when we dated 8 years ago. She still drinks every day, goes out, hangs out, parties, is judgmental of people and doesn't really let them in, doesn't express her feelings, doesn't really own herself. And she's super judgmental of what I do. And, the funny thing is there's still that sliver in my mind of what is she going to think of me? What does she think of me? Why, I just wish we could be friends. I wish she could accept me. Like, oh my God, if I post this, she's going to be the one that judges me. And I had the best gift the other day. I was visiting my old city, Chicago, and I showed up to a party, not thinking she would be there, and she was there, and I got to face her judgment. And she tore me apart and said some really hurtful, awful things. And the most beautiful thing about it was this thing that I was the most afraid of in my head was happening. And it didn't affect me anymore. And so whatever you're afraid of happening, when you just turn it down and face it, and you let that fear disappear, and you wait for that moment of grace of like, oh, I get to choose something different. I get to choose the person I've always wanted to be in this situation. I get to choose all of that self-help stuff that I've been pumping into my head all day long. I actually get to put it into play right here. Who is the person I want to be? Who is the person that is emerging from me? Who is the next powerful version of myself that is trying to come through? Then you just turn and you face it. And you say, thank you. You are actually the thing that is calling me up to be bigger.
That's absolutely true. I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, that's just what I have to do. I have to do what I have to do in order to really face it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like, as soon as you face it, being the person that you've always wanted to be, that steady, loving person who is like, actually, you can't do this to me. No, not no, like, no, because that's still fear. That's still the fear of
Yeah.
confrontation. But just like, hey, don't do that to me. No, thank you.
Right.
Do it a few times. You know, like when you're training a dog.
Exactly.
You just train people how to treat you.
And I'm pretty good at doing that for most people, but you know, that's probably just one of those things that it's kind of embedded in me from a long time ago, of people who are like really aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So
So aggression is one of your triggers.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is good. This is what I teach a lot of my coaches. And it was so funny because we have this thing called a cuddle puddle where we just we coach them live and we teach them different coaching tricks. And one of them is when someone comes up with their aggression, you know, that's what we call their shit show. Their shit show is that thing that they do to manipulate others to get what they want.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so they're being aggressive to try to get, you know, my guess is they're actually trying to get intimacy from you. They want a response. That's how they've trained themselves to get response and connection to other humans. And it's working on some level. That's why they keep doing it. But really, they probably want a deeper level of intimacy from you, a deeper level of connection. And so, you know, the thing that can really take that trigger away is when you see somebody in their shit show, you just go, oh, that's cute. They're trying to get they're trying to get their need met, but they don't know how. Oh, what do they really want here? Oh, that's cute.
So kind of say that internally and then go from there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you just diffuse it like it's a little toddler trying to get something. Oh, how cute. They don't know how to meet their needs. I can meet them with love. What are my needs right here? Okay, I can just say, hey, I feel kind of shitty when you spit at me. Is there something that you're trying to get when you do that? Or just
And probably won't know how to respond to that one. That would be kind of cool.
yeah, just try again. In that moment when you're able to stand in your power of like, that aggression does not get me to drop into a lower vibration. That does not trigger me. That does not haunt me anymore. That is a thing of my past that used to get me. But when I see aggression, it's no big deal. It's just somebody trying to get their needs met. When you can get to that place, it'll stop coming.
That's what I need. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, you know, it's funny because this, I don't know if you know this, Taz, but Rosie and I are planning a family right now, but we also have two other daddies who are planning this family with us. And we had a really cool situation the other day where Rosie was triggered by something that they did, something that one of the guys did. And I wasn't. I was just like, oh, that was a really adorable way to try to get your needs met, and such a total fail. But I see that you cared so much enough to fuck it up that much. That's really cool. And Rosie was like, gosh, I felt so uncomfortable. Oh, I don't know. And I said, why do you think you felt uncomfortable? And I didn't. And she said, because it reminded me of my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to stand up for myself or feel okay in that family environment with my brother. So it really triggered that fear in me, those uncomfortable feelings in me. And for me, I was like, oh, that just reminds me of myself when I don't know how to meet my needs, and I love that part of myself, so I could love him.
So what got you to that point where you love yourself that deeply? What are some of the things that you did to get there?
Well, it's very much like Kyle Cease, like, and I love this game. It's the perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
It's all that thing you did was actually perfect. Like, oh, you see every single moment and every single thing that people do is perfect.
Because it is, right?
Because it is. Because that person spitting on you is actually serving you to get that breakthrough. It's serving you to break through to that next level of like, wow, I can stand in this really unconditional love place for me and this person and ask for my needs to be met and see how they can meet their needs in this moment. I think I lost your question.
The question is, how did you get to the point where you are now, where you love yourself unconditionally?
Trigger by trigger by trigger by trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Layer by layer by layer by layer.
It's like an onion, isn't it? It's just, oh, there's that, and there's that. Life just presents itself to you where you have to look at it.
Willingness.
Mm-hmm.
Willingness. And, it's knowing, yeah, exactly what you said. Every single layer that you're willing, something new will be exposed. And so it's, for you, it's going up against this guy who's spitting on you. Just asking like, oh, this is really perfect. This is perfect that I have to see this every day. This is perfect that I'm coming up against this. Who do I need to be? What do I need to transform? What do I need to transcend to be okay in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean okay like shove it down. Okay like no big deal. Like, wow. Just feeling like being able to laugh it off genuinely and stay light in your heart.
Well, my coworker's like, if he would have did that to me, I would have blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because not only do you get that, then you get all the people around you. Oh, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Because that would be really stupid.
How many times have you attracted that? How many times has that happened to you?
You mean this situation now with the person spitting?
Yeah.
This is the first time this has happened. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just once.
Oh, no. You mean the same person has
Yeah.
probably spat at me about 4 times already.
Wow. And how many times has he spat at your coworker?
None.
And is this a hospital with mental illness?
No, I mean, it's just a regular hospital, but there's mentally ill.
So is this a mentally ill
There is
person?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, imagine. The thing that I love about mentally ill people is there is no filter. They respond to vibration, period. So they're responding to something within you, because if your coworkers are not attracting it, but you are, that's a great idea. Like, ask your coworker, why wouldn't, like, see how they would respond.
But this person is transgendered.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking because of who I am, it's probably not that I'm transgender, I'm gay, but I'm probably bringing something out in that person that they don't like about themselves.
Totally. Absolutely.
That's what my intuition says. So.
And are you letting them get away with it because of the similarity within you two?
Well, I've always been the type of person, if that conflict is coming at me like that, I just walk away. I never really face it.
That's it. So, and then you have a coworker who would be totally willing to face it.
Oh yeah, she's the
Like,
opposite.
oh, hell no.
Heck no. Let them do it to me next time.
Can I go deeper with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is this a mirror of in your life? What is that thing that you're not willing to face right now that you're like, oh, I just want to walk away?
What's that deep-seated fear of, like, I've always had this fear that I would get, attacked, or, because I had that stuff come up when I was a kid, seeing it happen to my mother.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just that deep-seated fear of that aggressiveness, that energy of people attacking you.
Yeah. It's scary, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's also something, it sounds silly, but it's something that you can totally transcend.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, and never ever had the fear of being attacked, and it never happened. And I think it's just, violence wasn't something that I was accustomed to in my growing up, and fear wasn't something I was accustomed to growing up. But I know a lot of people who violence is something that has been they've grown up with, and somehow they always walk down the street where they get attacked, and somehow people will turn left instead of right and go down the street where there's an attacker. And based on my belief in my programming and everything that I've been privileged to have, is violence has never really been a thing. But I do attract angry people who want to take advantage of me, because I've seen that, and I've been programmed to it, and I've never learned how to overcome that fear of what's wrong with me if people are angry at me. When you can transcend and be like, there's nothing wrong with me if people are angry with me. That's all.
That's their stuff, right? They get angry.
Uh-huh. So all you gotta do is take responsibility for anything that you've done, and realize, and claim what you want, claim what you need, ask for it, be totally okay and willing to ask for it, and go in that direction, and things will really start aligning. And face your fears too.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Facing that fear.
Yeah. I know for me, and this is actually something that's been coming up recently, is as I do have such a big heart, but it's also interwoven with feelings of guilt, that I will do nice things for people out of programming of guilt. And that is a program that attracts people who take advantage of me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my biggest growing edges is saying no to people
That I have no problem with.
who come at me with victim mentality.
Okay.
Saying no to people who want to be treated special because they have it bad in life. I still feel guilt towards that, and I have this really amazing thing that's been happening in my life where I attract people who I have a big heart towards, and I want to help them. Like, I recently attracted a transgender personal trainer, and I gave him like a bunch of money to train me and get me in shape, because I wanted to help him. I wanted to show him that he was awesome and he was worthy, and he should be paid for what he does, and that he's got great skill. And he didn't fully earn my trust as a client, but I wanted to help him, and he ended up taking off and taking the money and running.
Oh, wow.
And that is because
Mm-hmm.
of beliefs within me of I feel guilty if I'm not helping people who are less fortunate than me. And the universe is trying to say to me, nobody is less fortunate than you. Everybody has got the same connection to source, the same connection to abundance, the same connection to transform themselves. And sometimes saying no until somebody is up to speed with where you need them to be is the most loving thing that you can do.
Absolutely. When it comes to parenting, that's going to be a big thing too. Just so you know.
Yeah. It's one of the things I work with my clients is if they try to sell me something, because they look at me and they're like, oh, you could do my, you could do my cleanse with me, or you could do this. And I'm like, okay, but I really make them earn it. And in making them earn it, they learn so much more.
Yeah, because all the skills, all the things that we have, it's so valuable, but we have to give that value. We have to put it out there for our clients, or in order to receive that profit or that money in return. It has to be valuable. And if it's not, people are going to feel like, what did I just pay for? They're going to feel it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about, we're going a different direction, about is it Magma, your 4-day personal transformation event, and why are you having it in Berlin?
We're having it in Berlin because we have a big clientele base, a big European clientele base as well. And so we usually have one in San Diego and one somewhere in Europe, just so we can hit all spots. Berlin it just felt right. It just felt perfect. So Magma, it's a 4-day event where you basically are given permission to bring out your thoughts, to bring out your internal process, to just lay who you are and what's going on inside on the table in a nice way for other people to pick apart.
Oh, wow.
What
Okay.
happened? It's scary and it's intense, but what happens oftentimes is we try to hide these things. We try to keep them in the shadows. We have these thoughts, these patternings, these things that we just cover up in shame. And you never ever really get to see why you're attracting what you're attracting, why you're creating what you're creating, because you try to keep all of those dark things inside of you a secret. And so Magma, we give people permission to let their dark shit out. We give people permission to just really lay it on the table, what they're thinking, who they're being. And the flip side, we give people permission to give everyone feedback. So
you're the only other person I've told about this fear that I have besides my wife. So it's like, how did you just do that on camera?
Which fear?
The fear about being attacked, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what the event's going to be like. What type of things do you guys do at the event? Is there body work? Is there?
Well, we do yoga in the morning just because right now, as the event is evolving, we are still doing yoga in the morning. It may change, but because part of being in this world is being in a physical body, so it's working with your body. But one of my favorite things that we have at the event is called the Blurter Wand. And the Blurter Wand, basically, if somebody gives you the Blurter Wand, you must say whatever is in your head. You must speak unfiltered. And sometimes if people want to speak unfiltered, they'll go and steal the Blurter Wand. And one of my favorite moments of Magma was somebody went and stole the Blurter Wand, and she said, "This conversation right now is boring me." And what I love about it is it just gives people permission to speak their shit and speak their truth.
Like my 4-year-old.
Yeah. You can't guide people if they're hiding shit from you.
Yeah.
You can't help them. You can, but it's a lot harder. But when people are just given permission to just be like, I'm going to lay this out here, and I'm going to trust that you're going to love me anyway, and I'm going to trust that I'm going to get a breakthrough and some guidance from this. Oh, there's the changes that happen just so happen so rapidly, because A, it's in community, B, everyone's doing it, C, like some real good shit comes up. But what really ends up happening is you become these unfiltered mirrors. And when you become these unfiltered mirrors, you start to realize, oh, that thing that I just did attracted that thing from you, and that thing that you just did attracted that from me. And you really start to see the patterns and how they continue to repeat and repeat and repeat. And so you go like micro and macro, micro, macro. Oh, this is how it's happening here. Oh, this is how it happens in my life every day. Oh crap, that's why that person's a dick to me, because I keep doing this thing that I keep doing that I'm doing with you. It's really fun. And we have a whole day where we do that with money.
Oh, wow.
That's really fun.
There's a lot of stuff when it comes to money for people, for sure. I mean, all kinds of things that block them from receiving or giving or whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh, that is so fun, because we actually play with money to really bring up, like, how do you feel about this right now? And we let people get triggered. We let them get weird. And when we see them do something strange around money, we'll stop it right there and use it as a teaching moment.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Wow.
you know, it is real money that we play with. But the thing that's fun is we say, like, why don't you just try something different than you do in the regular world and see what happens? Because there's no risk here. This is a totally safe and unsafe environment.
I remember going to the Millionaire Mindset. Have you been to any of those?
Mm-mm. Are they
And
good?
yeah, it's really good. It's all about, they really look at all the shit that you have about money, and you look at it has all these sentences of, do you agree with this? Do you agree with this? And then you look at it and then you release it. But I don't think they do enough body work to get you out of that, you know, to release those vibrations that you have, or those feelings. But it gets you more aware of how your relationship is with money, for sure. It's good in that sense. But
So there's awareness, but there's not actual practice and application.
Well, they do have some things that they suggest you do with your bank accounts and that sort of thing, but I don't think it goes deep enough, because what they're trying to do is get you to buy other workshops that cost a whole lot more, which is not, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's and that, that's fun too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing that helped me see my relationship with money and how I felt about it and where I was with it. Because there was times when I was growing up in my 20s where I just, whenever money came into my pocket, I would just spend it unconsciously. But then I got to a point where I was realizing, this is probably not a good idea. I need to stop doing this. I had that awareness of what I need to do with my money and spend it wisely. So, but I think the best thing about this workshop is it helped me see that money is a tool. It's just a tool. It's another form of energy, and just to love it and enjoy it, and to realize that I always can make more. That I'm abundant in it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I like to see money as an extension of God.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's how much are you letting in?
Right.
How much do you believe?
For sure. There's one more question I wanted to ask you about your Magna. Besides the money, you said you just spend a whole day on money. Is there something else you really focus on as well besides that, or?
What am I? Money, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
communication. It's really just looking at yourself. Communication is a really big one. Like, oh, you've been thinking that for 6 hours. Why did you hold that back? It's also about, like getting the opportunity to step up in the moment and just say your truth. Are you the person that needs to talk over everybody all of the time? And then you watch yourself do it over and over and over, whatever it is, the pattern that it is. And you do that in an arena where it's totally okay to look at it, and other people are giving you feedback on what you're doing. So what happens in those situations is you really get to see your patterning. I can't give away too much because a lot of the exercises are secret, and if I
Oh,
tell,
for sure. Yeah.
so there's just a lot of situations set up where you get to see your thoughts, your patterns, and the actions that you took. You get to think about, how is this playing out in my life? What is it creating? And then we give you opportunities to choose new things and see what happens.
And I think the one thing that people may not realize if they've never gone to like an event like this where you're working on yourself, like I went to Kyle Cease and you were there, the last one. When you're around people who are all on the same page, who are all on the same path of just, really looking deep at themselves and becoming more aware, there's going to be some shifts. There's going to be some changes inside of you. And you really can't do that at home by yourself.
Yeah, it's immersion. It's about immersion. Like if you, let me think of a good way to put it. Yeah, if you're trying to learn how to ride a horse, you did it an hour a day or an hour every week. It took you a really long time to ride a horse. And the feedback loop is so spread out that it's almost hard to really improve. Actually, I'll give you a better example. I had a job once and I worked 1 day a week at that job. And every time I came back into that job, I would forget how to do what I was supposed to do.
Oh, it's like when you're on vacation and you come back after 3 weeks, you're like, oh, where am I? What am I doing?
So you like, if you spread out your learning over such a length of time, it's going to be really hard to connect the dots. So you have that job that I was at, like I would, every single week I'd come back and be like, oh crap, I don't know how to do this. And I'd read through my notes and I'd be like, I don't even know what this stuff means. It's been a week. Like there's like those connections, they got pruned because I wasn't using them for an entire week. Whereas when you go into full immersion, the connections in your brain, they fire, link, 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 so that you actually go home with a shift in your neurological programming. And that, that's the beauty of full immersion, is you have to make the neurological connections in your brain over and over and over and over and over and over again before there's actually a groove. And my hope, and what does happen after magma, is that there is enough of a groove that my hope is for people that they'll continue to repeat it so that it becomes permanent. But once people go home, and that's why I love programs that offer coaching after an event, because once you go home and life happens, if you don't choose to continue to nurture that groove, it's gonna start to fade away.
So do you have the event and then you have personalized coaching after that? Is that how that works? Or?
Yeah, if people want it, definitely. Okay. Yeah.
And where can people reach you now for personalized coaching?
Facebook, really. Love Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and you're in it, right?
I am.
The Active Volcano group. We do free yoga twice a week. We have a team of coaches. A lot of them are yoga teachers, and they teach in the group, and they're really amazing, and they love what they do. And so Active Volcano Family, I believe, on Facebook. So that's a group. You can join that. It's free. And then Kit Tin Volcano on Facebook. And then also my wife is Rosie S. Volcano on Facebook. And we have a website, thelittlevolcano.com.
Awesome. So what are your goals? I know you're doing the magnet, but is there other like big, audacious, huge goals that you have in mind here coming up soon, or anything else on your plate?
I mean, having a baby with 4 parents is really exciting.
Yeah.
My biggest goal is really just to become the best at this, the best that I can be. Just become the best person I can be and make the biggest impact on people's lives. And, I say I have this big goal of having a house, and the only way I'm going to get that is by being freaking awesome. You don't get that, or scamming people, but that's a different thing. No, you can't. In this day and age, with the internet and everything, you can't I don't think that works anymore. I don't know, maybe that's a limiting belief, maybe it still works, but you can't really grow to that level without having some sort of integrity and some sort of giving value to people and making a difference for people and really offering a service that people need. So that house is just, it's a representation of being able to do that, and being able to be my best self.
But
And
you already are awesome, and you already provide a ton of value. You're just going to reach a whole lot more people this way. They're just going to be coming to you, coming to you, coming to you. I mean, it's awesome what you're doing.
I've got my own edges that I got to work on. Oh, for sure.
We all do. I mean, that's a lifelong journey. So
I can feel them. Like when I think about them, I can feel them right here. It's like, oh, there's that belief that you're still carrying. Yep. When that one goes away, something new and beautiful will come into your life. Just kind of becomes a game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure if you look at your life from when you were 18 years old till now, it's totally different.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most people, when they see me now from when I was in my 20s, they're like, who are you now? Where'd you come? Or you're like a different person. So, and that's what we all want in life, right? We don't want to be the same as we were in our 20s or whatever.
I think there's an essence that always kind of stays with you.
Yeah.
But it's like, how much can you love that essence and let it express itself unapologetically?
Mm-hmm. Like when we were little kids.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I can even think back to when I was a little kid and not even really feeling like I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be better than when we were little kids.
Awesome. For sure. One question I like to ask everybody is, do you have a morning routine that you like to do to get yourself grounded and ready for the day? Or is it just kind of like sporadic throughout the day?
Oh, no. I have a morning routine. Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about it. Come on.
If I participate in my morning routine, my life is better. If I don't, it is not good. It is chaotic. So my morning routine, I wake up, usually I try to wake up around 6. Always get in meditation in the morning, 23 minutes of the same meditation. If I get up early enough, I will always do yoga in the morning. I set my little stopwatch for just to go, and it's about 40 to 50 minutes of yoga every morning and meditation. And I typically like to jump in the pool just to shock my system to wake up, and do a little bit of writing, but always meditation. And then the bonus is yoga and writing.
What type of meditation is it?
You ever heard of Joe Dispenza?
I have. I love Joe. Yeah, he's awesome.
I do his 23-minute morning meditation.
I'll have to try it out. I always wanted to go in that route a little bit. I read some of the books, but I never actually put anything into action. So I might check it out.
Meditation is the thing that you must do.
Well, I'm doing meditation. I'm just sitting there meditating. I'm not
you.
listening to anything.
Anyone watching?
Yeah.
The thing about meditation, what it's really about, it's about, like that situation with the person who was spitting on you. It's being able to witness yourself and witness your reactions and step back and choose. Because you're sitting there for 20, 30 minutes and your mind is going to try to find everything to get you to not do that, to get you to quit, to get you to give up. But when you can start, and that's the same thing with yoga. If you set a timer for 45 minutes, stay on your mat. Watch what your mind does to try to get you to stop. And in that moment with that man, when he does that thing, when he spits on you, when you have your meditation or your yoga practice really solid, you'll have that practice of being able to step back and say, no, I don't listen to that voice anymore. And I don't obey it. I actually obey the voice of my spirit. I obey the voice of abundance. I obey the voice that says, I'm actually safe right here. Nothing could harm me. And I feel peaceful and I feel good and I could respond from that place. And when I respond from that place, what I say, he'll stop. Or what I say, he'll attack me. And I'll realize that, well, actually, I'm okay.
In the end, you know, it's all perfect. It's just about how do you react in that space. Not react really, but how do you respond from love, right?
For yourself and
For
for him.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And love of this moment. Like, this moment is perfect. Wow. This moment is perfectly serving the breakthrough that I've been asking for.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, I have been asking for it, and here it is, right in my face. You're right. I've been asking for it for a while.
What have you been asking for?
For that breakthrough, to let go of that fear that I have about
Wow.
being attacked or being intimate or being in that space. Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's just kind of coming at you just a little bit, saying, play with me, fear, dance with me, choose. Here, I'm going to spit at you. And the universe is like, I'm going to put you in a situation where this gets triggered so you can practice choosing a different feeling.
So the feeling that I'm going to practice is knowing that I'm safe and everything's okay and it's perfect.
No big deal. You can,
Yeah.
I don't need to hide. I can look this guy in the eyes, whatever comes, whatever, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, but when you really stand in that place of knowing that you're safe no matter what, you'll know exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are that knowing of exactly what to do will come through you a few times, and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger until you actually decide to do it.
Well, I know that this talk that we had, this interview that we had together is really going to help a lot of people. And I really appreciate you and what you're doing and what your wife is doing and how you're just like expanding human consciousness. That's like the most important thing to do right now. And you're doing it and you're awesome. And I just appreciate all that you've done here for me and all that you're doing and all that you're going to do. It's huge.
The other thing too that I want to say, and this is going to sound super controversial, but I always like to drop a controversial nugget. That man who is spitting at you is actually expanding your human consciousness as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm no better than him.
Yeah.
I'm just got a different intent.
All right, everybody, let that sink in. Let all that sink in because it's real.
He's perfectly serving your breakthrough.
Mm-hmm. That he is.
We just got to love him and be thankful to him. Because when we are, it'll happen. Whatever is that thing that we want, that
Mm-hmm.
thing that is showing up, that is making us angry, that is pissing us off, that is making us feel unsafe, that we want to blame, that is actually the thing that is here to serve us the most.
Yeah, it's those darkest spots. As soon as we can see those and are like here in our face and just be okay with it and accept it. And that's where a lot of people are afraid to go. And that's what you're doing. That's the work you're doing. You're helping people see those places.
Yeah, helping people see like, who is the person that you want to become that you're not becoming? And why is this thing coming into your life? To show you that there's more.
Mm-hmm. That
there's so much more inside of you that you can transcend and change the situation. And if it keeps coming, it means you're not doing that right now. And it means that you can.
And it's all okay. It's all good, no matter what happens.
It's good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kit and Rosie. Tell Rosie I said hi.
I will.
And we'll keep in touch. All right. Take care.
Awesome. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.